Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I thought we could continue looking at Bonnie Blue because Bonnie Blue went on the Metro. Yeah, Bonnie Blue went onto the Metro. I did a video about her, I want to say a week ago. I don't know, time don't reel. She is an OnlyFans. Don't really want to use the word star. She's an OnlyFans person who brags about sleeping with barely legal teens. So she did an interview with the Metro and I thought we could just react to that today. Go check out my other video if you want further context. This video is sponsored by Raycon. Raycon are my go-to brand for premium earbuds. I personally love the ergonomic ear design on these things, and look at the cute little purple casing that you get. How wonderful. And you'll definitely want to use my link because of the upcoming Black Friday sales. Even though with Raycon you already get an amazing deal with premium audio every day of the year, on Black Friday they're going to be doubling down on their amazing value by offering up to 30% off site-wide. Raycon's everyday earbuds now have a 32-hour battery life, and multi-point connectivity allows you to pair to up to 2 devices. The everyday earbuds also come with active noise cancellation. It's a feature that's a must-have for me whenever I go outside to the general cacophony of the hoi polloi, and you get it at an accessible price point. Raycon's everyday earbuds are also available in a variety of colours. They're mine. It's purple or lavender. I can't really tell. Whatever colour it is, it sure is pretty. Like me. Also, check this out. Magnets. Magnets. How do they work? The battery also has a quick charge function. 10 minutes of charging yields 90 minutes of battery time. 90 minutes is half the time it takes for me to get out of bed in the mornings. But now with my Raycon everyday earbuds, I don't have to get out of bed. They are also weatherproof and sweat resistant for those of you weirdos that like to go to the gym. They're very comfortable earbuds and they don't fall out whenever you're shaking your head at random passers-by. It's time to save for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Go to buyraycon.com/Alizee to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 30% off site-wide when you use my special link in the description box, buyraycon.com/Alizee. So remember, if you use Raycon this Black Friday, you are supporting the Big Alizee channel and the Big Alizee ideas. So bear that in mind. Thank you, Raycon, for sponsoring today's video. And let's just get on with it.
So I started off as a cam girl originally. So you know when you go onto these sites and you can speak to these girls one-on-one.
25, Bonnie. We still saying that, yeah? If you're 25, I don't want to say 18 because you might try and shag me.
And I did that for about 2 weeks, I'd say, and was earning about 3,000 to 4,000 AUD a week. And I was like, wow, I would not earn this in recruitment whatsoever. And I didn't find it stressful. I loved it and it gave me so much confidence, like having that many people a day saying, oh, you're beautiful, or I love talking to you, or you're so interesting.
Interesting? There's nothing interesting about you. And the sex stuff don't count. Almost everyone does it. It's not interesting. Who cares? I've not actually decided, this is a long time coming. I have a sort of like 19th century Russian novelist approach to sex. I find it base. I find it a scene of grotesque buffoonery. The narrator says that in The Brothers Karamazov. This scene of grotesque buffoonery. It's my new catchphrase. I'm going to put it on merch. I do not find it interesting. It's literally just biology. Who cares, mate? Anyway, God. Also, you can't believe it every time that someone says to you, you know, a compliment. Because if you're going to believe your own hype all the time, then you're going to believe every single like horrible thing if you're in the public eye, you read about yourself. So really, there's no point. And maybe assurance should come from within rather than the external. Can't prove they exist after all. God, I hope none of this actually exists. I'm really worried when I say that kind of stuff now. I sound like Russell Brand. I've disowned him a long time ago. Ate him. Should say that without sounding like I've co-opted his accent though.
These thousands of people telling me they're interested and they like me, like surely some of them would buy the videos.
Did she just repeat herself or did I go backwards? I wasn't paying attention.
If you just asked my friends or family, would I be doing this now? They would have been like 100% not. Like out of all my friends, yes, I slept around, but you wouldn't have ever expected me to have posted about it.
Did you? Because I recall in your other one with Saving Grace saying that you'd only You'd been with some bloke for 10 years since you were like 13, allegedly. Don't really believe that. Because I don't believe the timeline of events that she gives connote into her age. But I swear before that she said that she'd only slept with like a couple of people. And now she's trying to give off that, oh no, I was sleeping around like well loads and then I did it. What is the truth, Bonnie? Let's look within. Did I mention that if it was a bloke being, and I hate you, in the last video I already said, so I'm not going to go over it again, but I don't like really using the whole if the genders were reversed, because look at the last video to see my logic on that. But if it was a bloke being like barely legal, yeah, going around college campuses trying like shag virgins, I don't think the Metro would platform them. I really don't feel that would be the case. Anyway.
Straight away, I was earning a very comfortable salary. I was earning about 10 to 14,000 a month.
Comfortable salary, 10 grand a month? Shut up.
But then when November hit last year, there's a thing called schoolies in Australia, which is 18-year-olds, they finish school and they're celebrating on the Gold Coast, which is where I live in Australia.
I think she's been banned from Australia. Did I imagine that?
And originally, you don't really film content with people unless they're established OF creator. Like, you just seem to work with this tight-knit circle and that's as far as it goes. But over those 4 months prior to that, I'd started to realise how fake and edited the videos are. And I was like, it's not relatable whatsoever. And I like my content to be quite relatable. I want people to enjoy it and be able to imagine themselves in that video.
I think it's important to note the part where she said, oh, like it's so scripted online and I wanted it to be more real, because I think it loops around later into being a scene of grotesque buffoonery.
Okay, so it blew up when you started making content with 18-year-olds.
Yeah, and I had no idea of the, like, how big it was going to come. Like, and then from that, I was like, okay, the media actually quite like this because, yes, it's different, but different is good.
To who? Good to who? By what moral standard is preying on virgins at the tender age of definitely not 25 a good thing? Don't really trust you to be the moral police. What's your stance on fair and vegetarianism, I wonder? What's Bonnie Blue think about climate change? They're the questions I want to know.
It is why we've got you here today, is to kind of address the backlash you've been receiving.
Yeah.
Give you the chance to respond. And
give her the chance to respond again. If it was a geezer, would we be giving him the chance to respond? No, I don't think the Metro would. But before we go further into it, I have new merch now at ayclothing.tmall.com. I have these hoodies. I have these iPhone cases. Yes, I've not got an iPhone. Don't laugh at me. I have these iPhone cases. I have these water bottles. I have a notepad that I've lost somewhere. And I have like a whole new drop of new hats and duffel bags and gym bags and all that kind of stuff that hopefully should be up by the time this video is uploaded. So check it out, ayclothing.tmall.com. If you sign up to the newsletter that pops up when you go onto the website, you can get 10% off. And from Friday the 22nd to Friday the 29th of November, you can get a 10% off any order with code TAKE10. I'm not sure if that and the newsletter code works in conjunction. Try it out. Then you might have 20% off. If not, you'll still have 10% off and an extra 10% off of a different order if you want to like buy loads of stuff. So yes, there's a 10% off Black Friday deal at ayclothing.tmall.com. So go grab yourself a hat or a water bottle. Everything is recycled, vegan, not tested on animals, not derived from animals, made in sustainable factories that run on renewable energy, recycled from plastic, organic. I know, I am probably the only ethical YouTuber that ever existed who also wants to make a profit. Anyway, ayclothing.tmall.com.
a lot of your controversy comes around the age of the people that you sleep with. You do call them like barely legal and freshly 18. So why do you sleep with that age?
From a business point of view, it's the most searched for category in the hub. It's the trending search and has been for a very, very long time. But it's always been schoolgirls as opposed to schoolboys. But teens has always been a busy category.
Doesn't mean it should be, though. I'll just say it. I'm not going to click on any video that has teen in the title. No, thank you. So if feel like you're skirting around a technicality there.
And I was like, it doesn't just have to be schoolgirls, like the guys can be the schoolboys. And so yeah, from a business point of view, I knew there's money to be made because there's a gap in the market for it being schoolboys.
Money to be made off of bonking virgins. But then they're not getting a cut of it, are they? It's not very nice of you, Bonnie. Also, I guess there is the argument that, yeah, they might agree to do it whilst they're 18 and then maybe regret it later on because 18-year-olds are horny idiots. I think she doesn't show that. I'm pretty sure she doesn't show their faces. But still, I'm sure like some of them might have some birthmarks or be kind of recognizable. So they might regret it in 10 years' time now that it's up on the internet forever. Can you tell how bothered I am about men regret? That's bad, sorry.
And I call them barely legal teens because I'm aware it's going to get attention. And the more attention I get, the more word it spreads. And the more people that know about it, the more 18-year-olds I can sleep with.
Oh my God, you're so business-minded. It was basically a social experiment a la Nikocado Avocado, which I don't find this impressive and I don't find it, oh my God, like amazing business savvy. Because anyone can go and act in whatever attention-seeking way they want. Like I said in the last video, I used to be a pretty big attention seeker in my early 20s. Kind of regret it now because it's a bit embarrassing. That's what the 20s are for, I suppose. Not her 20s though, because they were 10 years ago. I'm not sorry. My point is, anyone can act extremely or attention seeking and then get attention. I don't believe it's good business sense to do so. Short-term gratification, long-term, whatever happened to integrity?
I mean, it is bold to say obviously like 18-year-olds. So I didn't actually know that. So that's the most searched category.
Oh, you sweet summer child. Of course it is.
Because this is like the funny thing. Well, it's not really funny, but women are saying, especially the middle-aged women, are saying like, oh, if I was a guy, this would be so wrong. People were calling me a predator. People are calling me a predator anyway. So it makes no difference if I'm a guy or a female because
oh no, I think I'm swinging into the I actually love her category. Like, babe, you're being called a predator. So maybe stop doing the thing that's causing people to call you a predator. They're calling me predator anyway. So I might as well just double down and do the thing that makes me look like a predator. Oh my God, I kind of love her. Babe, should we joking.
My hate has been through the roof in terms of death threats and non-stop, abuse. But so it makes no difference if I'm a guy, but there's been no uproar for these content creators that sleep with. They market their videos as schoolgirls and they're happy for them to dress up as schoolgirls.
What do you mean there's been no uproar? Have you heard of, I've swung back round, now I think you're an idiot. Have you ever heard of feminism? There's like entire subgenres within feminism that are just against porn and OnlyFans. Full stop. Full stop. Against the commodification of women's bodies. Full stop. Now, I'm not completely against porn. Oh, what a bold statement. There's also a lot of adult websites that are now being made for women by women in reaction to the other companies that may be exploitative. In fact, I spoke to someone once who used to work at the Hub and told me that they had to implement an ID verification system, I think because there was like revenge videos being put up or whatever. There's now an ID system to make sure that people are of age and yada yada. It's all above board. And that's in reaction to people complaining about this stuff in the first place, Bonnie. Like there is backlash against, like there's huge backlash. It's a bit like how people like Onision, remember him, try to infantilize their partners because it's some type of kink. Oh, don't kink shame. I'll do what I want. If you're fantasizing about your partner being a little baby in a diaper, not saying Onision does that, but like there's a type of person, right? There's backlash against these things, rightly so. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it definitely is like a bit of a difference, but in a way it's worse because when they're doing the adult content ones, which are fake, the schoolgirl most of the time is pretending, oh no, I don't really want it. Oh, pretending to be shy. Then you're blurring the consent because it looks like that schoolgirl doesn't want it. Whereas when I'm doing it from the start, they're very clearly consenting, they're very clearly wanting it. So mine's actually a lot better to watch in terms of educational.
I wouldn't go as far as calling you an educator, darling.
And allows you to understand consent better, as opposed to me dressing up as a schoolgirl, working with someone double my age, and then pretending, oh, I'm this naive, innocent girl that doesn't really want it.
Well, the other one's just acting, which I suppose is murky waters, but there's a reason why a lot of adult stars are just failed actors, right? The other one's just acting, whereas you are actually... Is it worse to be 40 and act as though you're 19 for an adult scene than it is to be 40 and bonking freshly turned 18-year-olds? I think both are weird, but one is probably worse.
When you're a sex worker, you get tested every 2 weeks, whereas most of the people you sleep with, if you went back on a one-night stand, they've not just gone and had a full panel recently. Like, they just don't. People don't. I never used to get tested before being in the industry. People always think, oh, the condom ruins the fun. And it's not the case. You can still have a very good time, still finish, and have a pleasurable experience, even if you're wearing a condom.
Yeah, but you don't use a condom for oral sex, and you're doing it literally like 100 to 200 times every 2 weeks, but you're only getting tested every 2 weeks. So your mouth might be a health hazard, babe. To go to the dentist. Would that be bad for the enamel? We should do a study on that with Bonnie. It is too much. Would that wear away your enamel? Go to the dentist and then let me know, Bonnie.
Like, you on average will have sex with a lot more people
100%
than what other people do. So getting tested every 2 weeks if you're having sex with, say, I don't know, 20 people in a day, versus someone getting tested less often if they're having sex with 2 people in a month. Like, there is a big difference there, and there must still be a risk associated.
Yeah, it negates it.
When I'm working with people, they're also tested. Obviously, it's different when it's students, which is why they have to wear condoms. But when it's other content creators, this is our job, this is how we earn money. So we're never going to risk having unprotected sex.
Yeah, but you're lying. Like, yeah, other adult stars do get tested. That's, well known. But you're lying about the whole freshers thing because you said on the other podcast that you don't for oral sex. So what is true? What's the...
And they also get tested. So it's a much safer environment than what people think. No, so when they have sex with me compared to when they have sex with another 18-year-old girl, it's going to be different. When they sleep with that next girl, they can be like, oh, we can try this, or, oh, let me do this to you. This might feel good. So no, it's perhaps not going to be at the same level, but over time they can learn and, they can try new things on that next girl that they've learned on me or I've been able to teach them.
And again, I said in the last video, I'm going to say it again, anyone who queues up for 8 hours straight just to have 2 minutes with Bonnie, because you get 2 minutes or double it and give it to the next person, still funny, is not a high value man, isn't boyfriend or husband material.
These people, they're contacting you on social media, they've never met you.
Yeah.
Sometimes queuing in the street or meeting up with you in a hotel or an Airbnb or wherever.
Yeah.
Having their sex filmed and then having no autonomy of who's going to see this, it being on the internet forever. Do you really think that is completely safe?
Yeah, no, it's not safe, Bonnie.
Because when you think of a normal 18-year-old, say they're at uni and they're going to go and sleep with someone, it's probably after a night out, they've had drinks and stuff, they've gone back, had sex, probably hadn't wore a condom. When they come into me, it's pre-planned. So they've already thought about it beforehand. They have to fill in 2 consent forms. They have to bring ID.
I fear that this wasn't the question, Bonnie. The question is, it's going to be online forever. They're making this rash decision at the age of 18 years old. Maybe they're going to regret it. That's the question, not whether they're fully consenting to it, because I'm sure they are. And the whole consent form thing is a consent for the media to be... You can't really have like a sexual consent form because that would be awful. I've had this conversation with someone the other day. It would be such a awful can of worms if you had to sign a little contract with someone before you had sex with them, because you can redact consent at any moment, even during sex. And people should respect that if suddenly you're not into it anymore. So whatever.
So they've already been able to think about it a lot and they're fully aware. Like, it's not a shock on the day, oh, I'm going to film it. They're aware they need to film it and it's in a controlled environment.
Yeah, but they're also dumb and 18. That's not the question.
You can't be drinking beforehand. You can't have done drugs. So when you think of a safe environment, it's the security on the door as well. So it's sort of, what about it is unsafe?
I'm actually glad to hear, because I wasn't sure about that in the last one, that there is security. on the door because she put her address online, so random men just come to. So I'm glad that there is security and she's thought that through. What about it is she's so smug. This still image that I've got of her face right now, I'm going to take a picture of it. She's so smug. What about it isn't a safe environment? It's not about the environment being unsafe. It's about them regretting it when they're not an 18-year-old hormonally driven idiot. Like, imagine them being 31 and getting married, and then their wife like comes across them whimpering for 2 minutes in an OnlyFans video.
It's how well informed they are. It's the knowledge that this is online forever.
Yeah.
And if they are 18, they've just left school. Do they have the maturity to be able to make those kinds of decisions?
No.
Yeah.
Because that is a huge decision. Your sex tape being online for good, and like, let's be honest, you are earning the money from that.
Yes.
Does beg a kind of power dynamic of are they mature enough to consent to that? I guess that's the big question here.
Yes, there is a power imbalance, isn't there?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Really? Because if it was 100%, you wouldn't be doing it.
The thing is with that then, it's if we're saying 18 is too young to consent, they need to change the law. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the law's 18, I'm going to abide by it and I'll go for 18.
Oh, she had, like, of course she brought up so if the law was 16, the age of consent in the UK is 16, but that means like other 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds can have sex with each other. It's not for like, 20-year-olds to be banging 16-year-olds. Though Ruby on Main Chelsea was like 15 when she started dating Rez, who was 24, I want to say at the time. Yikes. We don't talk about that enough on Made in Chelsea. So if the age of consent was 14, or 16, is 14 in some countries. If it was 14, does that mean you'd bonk 14-year-olds, Bonnie? If you have to hinge on a technicality, I feel like you've already lost and you're kind of disgusting.
If they change it to 21, I'll up it to 21. So when people have got an issue with that, they're sort of just putting their other problems on me. It's like, if you don't agree with it being 18, go to Parliament, stop, get out my comment section. But as well, with 18-year-olds, and we say, they don't understand the digital footprint and stuff. I know if I spoke to an 18-year-old, they understand social media more than I do. They have been brought up with it the whole time. And
is that because you're actually 40, so you don't really understand social media that much?
It's not wrong. Like, or when people say I should be arrested, it's like, why? Because it's legal. Like, I can understand you're not going to agree with it, and my content isn't for everyone, nor is it made for the middle-aged women that, give me a lot of the hate. It's like, this video isn't for you. It's for your husbands and your sons.
Always again with the middle-aged women, isn't it? You misogynist. What about all the blokes that are calling you like some pretty rough names? I've seen it. It exists. What about all those blokes? You're going to go for them? Go for their next? No, it's always the middle-aged women. Bonnie, you're a middle-aged woman. Stop lying.
So on that note, who is it made for then? It's educational.
Yeah.
To who? So are you expecting 18-year-old boys to be signing up to your OnlyFans and viewing it, or who is?
Yeah, an 18-year-old bloke isn't going to sign up to her OnlyFans and be like, oh, this is real educational content. I'm going to do my A-levels in this. Shut up.
It's not the 18-year-olds that content is for. It's the older generation.
So I guess that begs the question of how educational is it then? Because
yeah,
it's not educational content. It's just porn.
Are you then just contributing to the kind of creepy schoolgirl?
No, so that's why I try and sleep with as many as possible. The more I sleep with, the more I educate. So that's why I did 158 in 2 weeks, because the more numbers you get out, the more I'm educating and face-to-face. And there's no better lesson than someone teaching you in person.
But then, right, let's flip on its head again. We think it's creepy when older men try to educate young women in the ways of sex. We view that as creepy, and rightly so. Do you guys remember Charlotte Church? She went on, I don't want to say the name of the bloke because I can't remember who it was, so I don't want to unfairly lambast someone, but there was a comedian who was much older than her. I think Charlotte Church had a talk show, or maybe the comedian. I think Charlotte Church had a talk show, and she had this guy on, and she was like, do you remember when I was about 10, 16, and you offered to take my virginity? And they played it off for laughs, whereas now would look at that and go, oh, that's weird. So I feel like this whole, but I'm just like nurturing and I'm pleasuring them and I'm showing them and I'm teaching them the young, innocent, puerile youth. And it's a good thing. It would, yes, be very creepy if a bloke was doing that to girls, as it kind of is. Also, to go back to her previous point of if you don't like it, go bang on Parliament. So you're incapable of making any moral or ethical decisions by yourself without having an authoritative figure tell you otherwise. That's all I'm hearing from that. You sheep, you clone. Is there any human spirit in you? Is there a spark of individuality or individual thought within that blonde head of yours? I just don't respect anyone that has to bring laws into it, because Anishan would do that. He'd be like, well, it's fine that I shagged Shiloh when she was 16 because we deliberately went to a state where it was legal for us to do so, even though in her home state it would have been illegal. Like, I don't respect it, because it just says to me that you can't really make, you're either depending on legality to get you out, aka technicalities, or you can't make any real informed decisions by yourself. You need a daddy to tell you what to do, how to think, how to feel. Well, technically it's legal, yeah, but morals and ethics ain't, you know, that that sign ain't legality. If morals and ethics had anything to do with the law, it wouldn't be legal for people to drink, but it would be legal for people to smoke weed. I guess you're going to have to respect these laws. I just got a text from one of my editors. Bonnie Blue has been banned from Fiji after taking a controversial sex tour to the Pacific holiday island. So she's been banned from entering Australia and she's been kicked out of Fiji. Are you going to respect those laws, babe? You're going to have to respect them, aren't you? What a shame.
Do you not find it slightly strange to think of like an old man subscribing to your OnlyFans to watch a clip of like, you've mentioned virgins that maybe struggle to get hard or that kind of thing. Like, do you not find that strange?
No, like the sex world is so different, and there's so many different like fetishes people have or interests, and I'm just like, who am I to judge what turns them on? Who am I to judge what's going to make them finish? So
would you think the same thing about paedophiles? Sorry, I'm being extreme again. I've always been extreme. I know, I'm the problem. Who am I to judge what turns people on or whatever? I think we're allowed to kink shame some things. So again, she's just got no real thoughts bouncing around in that head of hers. I think she did rehearse a lot of this because she's been on the podcast rounds.
If they enjoy it and I enjoy making the content, I'm not going to look into it that deep. Like, yes, you could sit there and psychologists would, you know, absolutely rinse it probably, but it's not that deep. They enjoy watching it. I enjoy making it. And it's as simple as that.
It's not that deep, except it is. Usually things are that deep. You would know if you ever had a deep thought within your life. Well, it might be deep that old men are jacking off to barely legal virgins. You might consider why it could be that deep. Simple as that. People who say simple as that are stupid. This podcast, this video is such a roller coaster of emotions. It's like, oh, I think she's funny. Oh, I quite like her. No, she's stupid. Yada yada. I've just always found, like, if you're arguing with someone online and they're like, end of, simple, things rarely are so simple.
Is it 18-year-olds because of the money it brings you in and the fame it brings you in with how controversial it is? Does it all come back down to money and fame?
There's a mixture. Like, they're so energetic, they're so excited and happy.
What, like puppies?
They're the ones that are out and about, and they're the ones that I can meet in big numbers, because if you go to the clubs, I only have to go to one club and I'll meet loads of people. I have loads of photos with, you know. So doing that target audience is perfect because I can reach it so quickly and in a short amount of time. As opposed to if I'm targeting 30, 40-year-olds, you might have a couple at the pub, but you're going to have to go to a lot of pubs to reach the numbers you do, as if I just go to a single club. And yeah, in terms of the money, me sleeping with 18-year-olds is good money.
Spoken truly like someone preying upon teenagers, isn't it?
Partly to do with like the speed of getting people.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like if I did ones with husbands when I was in Australia, I only slept with 16 that night.
Ladies, lock up your husbands.
Husbands are less likely to queue up with their friends. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they shouldn't be that pathetic.
They've got to be careful. They've got to be hiding from their wives and people are going to see them.
Hiding from their wives. God, she's awful, isn't she? She's awful. The men are worse, but she still has her part to play in this. She's still awful too.
Did you say, was it 16 you just said? 16 husbands?
When I did husbands, yeah.
I mean, to the average person, that sounds like a lot. So what's like the reason for getting so many in?
How much content is she putting out if she's doing this many blokes?
So if there's an event going on and I know there's going to be high numbers of students there, then I'll try and sleep with as many as possible.
It's really interesting to hear like what you've got to say. You've got such a unique life.
Like I get it. It is different. Like it is very different.
Yeah.
Is it interesting? Is it interesting? Mushrooms are interesting. Elon Musk being cringe is vaguely interesting. You know, proof that money absolutely can never make you cool. Is this interesting? Not really. Again, scenes of grotesque buffoonery come to mind.
It's not scary at all. You don't ever find it scary?
Recently, with the amount of hate, yes, it has been a bit intimidating, a bit scary. So I now have like full-time security.
Oh, she now has security. I mean, you should have had security before. Again, like, how are you so blindly trusting of these blokes?
But I'm not scared to the point where I'd ever think about stopping or slowing down. If anything, it has the opposite effect. I think I'm going to prove to you I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm going to show you no matter what you comment, my face is going to be everywhere. And even if you don't want me to see it with your son, I will.
You are pathetic. You're absolutely pathetic. Like, the seeking, like even seeking negative feedback is still a form of seeking external validation. She can't just be happy within herself. Like, do your thing, but what are you trying to prove and to who? Like, why are you living to prove faceless person XYZ wrong? I'm sure if she sees this, it'll be like, well, it'll be to prove you wrong. But I don't, like, once I've done this video, unless there's anything else that makes me laugh about her, I'm not really going to do content on her again. Like, because I just don't care that much. Like, it's funny to poke fun at because of the grotesque buffoonery for like a few minutes, like half an hour, and then I'm just going to go on with my life. And she's not going to, you know, like rent free up here. I'd actually respect it more if she maintained she's doing it completely for the money rather than I'm going to show people wrong, because it's just kind of like pathetic, dude. Even when I've been like told off for maybe being a bit too OTT on here or being an idiot in the past or whatever, I don't care about proving people wrong. It's got nothing to do with me, really. I don't know them. I wouldn't care about proving anyone wrong in my real life. I don't care. And I'm going to sleep with your son. You're quite grim and a predator, for sure. And also just quite malicious as well. She would have been a mean girl in school that 100% would have bitched about you. 100%. Yeah, just not a nice person, Bonnie. Maybe you should work on that instead.
Bold statements, bold statements.
I don't think this journalist likes her.
You've been called a predator.
Yeah.
People are even alleging that you should be on the sex offenders list.
Yes.
What would you kind of say to those?
Educate yourself.
Educate yourself, sheeple.
How vulnerable is that person at 18? Mm-hmm. How well informed are they at that age? It all comes back to, can they really make that decision to queue up down the street for 8 hours to meet a 25-year-old to film them having sex?
I think the fact that like some of them are queuing for hours just to bonk an OnlyFans worker shows how immature they are, shows how hormonally driven they are, shows how they're not rationally thinking. It's a tiny bit similar to like people that queue up for hours just to get a new iPhone, innit? Like they're not rationally thinking either. So kind of proves the point that they're not mature enough really to be signing up for having themselves exposed online in a sex tape forever, or until the servers that contain all the internet break down and they were back to like the 70s.
I've been to uni. You mentioned you haven't, so maybe you don't fully get this feeling, but you go to a new city, you're meeting all new people.
Exactly.
You're in a totally new environment. You're starting a whole new life chapter. Mm-hmm.
Shut up, Bonnie. Again, why is she in the background going, yeah, exactly. She's not thinking. There is not a thought rattling around in that head of hers.
Do you not think those people are vulnerable?
I sort of get where you're coming from, but then they're sort of lonely. Do you know what I mean? They want to have a bonding experience, and I'm able to offer that. Like,
oh my God. So you're giving them the girlfriend experience, are you? A, I don't think you are, because you're kind of like teaching them and like nurturing them apparently. And B, like you shouldn't falsify sexual relations with someone or like blur the lines in that way, because then you give rise to men who genuinely think that strippers actually like them and are being nice to them. Bonnie, keep it consistent. Come on, man.
When you go to uni, you don't know who's going to be like in your halls or who's going to be, you know, in your societies. So I was thinking, like, what better way than getting to meet them, coming to see me, having an experience you haven't done before, and just starting your year off right.
So they get to have a fleeting experience with you, and that's going to enable them to be less lonely when you've left to go bonk other people. How? Doesn't make any sense. And she's so smug, and yet there isn't a soul or a thought behind those eyes. Does anyone else think that some people just look as though they don't have a soul behind their eyes? I'm not spiritual. I don't believe in a soul. But I do think there is something about the human condition. Some people have it, some people don't. Some people truly don't, just don't have that spark. She don't. The eyes are dull, glazed, like a Krispy Kreme donut. Like Bradley Cooper's dead-eyed, stoned stare.
Schoolies, you mentioned, so that's when people leave year 12 in Australia. So they're even younger. Like they're almost guaranteed to have not left home yet, because they've just finished school.
Yeah, so they tend to still live at home. Obviously, everyone's different, but they probably still live at home, and you go to the Gold Coast for a week sort of holiday. Okay. Whereas at uni, you've sort of left, you know, you've temporarily left home.
Well, she was doing schoolies in Australia, and they said it could be even younger. The legal age for consensual sex varies between 16 and 17 across Australia. Wait, why am I touching wood? What's that thing you're meant to say? Allegedly. She's definitely bonked a 16-year-old, isn't she? There's no fucking way she's not. Because after all, it's the law, and the law must be right, because I can't think for myself of morals and ethics and blah, blah, blah.
It's, say, like the same age, they're 18, and it's a similar situation. It's their decision. If they want to do it, they will. And the other thing is, they see every bit of press I get. They see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they're still choosing to do it. So when people are saying they don't understand the consequences, they do. And like I said, they understand it probably more than what I do.
Yeah, okay.
You're okay. No, not okay. Well, you're dumb then if you don't understand the consequences, and this is your job. Like, this is your job. And she just said they probably understand the consequences better than I do of having sex online. You're an idiot then.
And I did want to mention, actually, I just saw it today, that have you seen a petition that's been launched?
Yeah.
So there's a change.org petition to try and block you from re-entering Australia and to cancel your visa.
What? That's hilarious. Well, she's already been blocked, isn't she? Change.org. Let me sign it. Not because I care that much, just because I'm going to be a chaotic neutral. I don't give a shit about if she can't go on holiday. Prohibit Bonnie Blue and Annie Knight from participating in schoolies. Who's Annie Knight? There's another one. They target young men aged 17 to 18. Yeah, she's definitely bonked. 16-year-old, isn't she? Christ. In the topic human trafficking on change.org, there's one about Bonnie, and it's just above Andrew Tate. I mean, this isn't good company to be in, is it, Bonnie? Remove a platform for Bonnie Blue, Annie Knight, and Lillian Phillips. Giving women like Bonnie Blue a platform contributes to violence against women and girls. So they're OnlyFans creators, but more so predators. We need a ban because they're making everyone else on OnlyFans look bad, basically. Schoolies is a week-long holiday for year 12 graduating students in Australia, generally 17 to 18-year-olds. Funny she keeps saying 18, though. Done it. She keeps saying 18, but legally in Australia in some places, like it's 16, 17. So you're definitely bonking 17-year-olds, aren't you? Because by her own logic, legally, it's fine. If you don't like it, call on Parliament or whatever. So she's definitely only just saying 18 because she knows it doesn't look good. Christ. Anyway, let's go back to the video.
A lot of the hate's come from schoolies, which is coming up. And they're saying, oh, they're underage, they're going to be drunk, and they're going to be under the influence. So from reading those 3 allegations, they've then set up a petition, which they're then signing. So they're signing that on behalf of false information and facts that aren't true. So if they want to continue wasting their time, it's like, you're not even educated, because I would be broke and in trouble if I was filming with people that are 17. OnlyFans do not allow under 18. Like I said, they are of age. They have to sign a form, multiple consent forms, and they have to do a breathalyzer for schoolies. So
she says all this, but the petition I just saw didn't say anything about that. It just said, we don't like that these people are going on about sleeping with barely legal teenagers. Didn't say about the drink and drug stuff. So, straw man, ain't ya?
Even the hotel I'm due to film at released a statement, and well, actually someone called up, I don't know if you've seen it on TikTok, to say, Bonnie's coming to your hotel, like, ban her, she shouldn't be there, she's going to commit a crime. And the hotel agreed with them. But how can you agree to say I'm committing a crime when I'm not? You are hotel staff, and just some random guy on TikTok phoning up, and suddenly you know the law better than the police.
You know the law better than the police. Shall we not open that can of worms, babe?
Yeah, I think in Australia it will happen because they've wound themselves up that much. And like these videos on TikTok, people booking flights and accommodation near the area I'm staying to come and either say, stomp my head in or put me in the ground. And I think then as a parent, you're saying you're concerned and you want to, either support women or you want to support children. I'm still just a 24-year-old girl and you're saying you're going to stomp my head in.
Right, okay, but you're not a girl. You're a woman. And you're not 24. What's your point? Imagine, yes, she is. Where's the birth certificate? But even then, if you're 24, you're not a girl. You're a woman. So
I just feel sorry for him. Like, when I get some of these messages, they are that aggressive and that hateful. I just think you can't be sat there with your friends or your family having a good day saying, sorry, just let me stop you 1 second. I'm just going to send this death threat, or let me just send these really aggressive messages to this girl. Like, you're not a happy person. Like, they're the ones that are unhappy and need help, not me.
I don't think you're that happy either if you're constantly seeking external validation, Bonnie. Maybe you are happy, but it's in a really superficial way because you're making lots of money. Anyway. Like, I don't think she's going to be that happy to be banned from Fiji and Australia.
So you kind of say a lot of your hate comes from like middle-aged women and angry mums.
Yeah.
Does it not make the amount of people that are calling you predatory online, does that not make you sit and think, is any of my behaviour wrong here?
If it was coming from my target audience, which is men, 100%. But it's not. It's from women that...
If it was coming from my target audience, I've seen men calling you some very rude things, Bonnie. So nix that straight away. Secondly, you absolute pick me. If it was coming from my target audience, which is men, you little pick me. You awful, awful, awful pick me. Stop living for the validation of men. It's really kind of embarrassing. Well, I guess it's embarrassing to people who actually do have deeper thoughts. So I guess Bonnie's fine.
My audience isn't for women, haven't got like a high rate of watching, porn or being pro-sex workers. So
how dare you? You see how much porn I watch? I'm keeping the whole industry upheld. Well, I actually had a video once on here where I watched, not the OnlyFans stuff, because those are still up. I watched an adult video. But I took it down because, YouTube are retroactively deciding to get you in trouble for content you might have put up X amount of years ago. It was the Hub's like filthiest. I did a video watching and reviewing it. So in your face, Bonnie, I'm just as much a profligate as you. Except not really, because I know words like profligate and you don't.
If, like I said, if the roles were switched and it was men giving me this hate, I would reconsider the way I market myself. I'd reconsider the content I make. But it's not like those women, even if they did like me, would not be subscribing to my content. So in my eyes, it makes no difference if the women like me or dislike me.
So a subscriber's not saying it, so it doesn't matter.
Basically, yeah. Or like my fans or Instagram followers and stuff, they're...
Babe, like Ted Bundy had fans. I don't think that's a good indicator of how moral or virtuous you are as a human being, if you have fans or not. I'm being a bit extreme again, but, plenty of contentious and really awful people have strong fans. I mean, did I not say that she was like one above in the change.org on human trafficking above Andrew Tate? The Andrew Tate one had more signings, but I mean, like her one came up first, her and the other girls. He has loads of fans. You're not going to say he's not doing stuff that's... Do you know what I mean? Though that's more of an extreme example because it's human trafficking. But It's just not a good logical argument.
If, like I said, my target audience was women and then I was getting this hate, I'd be thinking, gosh, I need to change this, but it's not.
Yeah, because horny men are often seen as the moral arbiters of our time.
Like from that, to go into like the practicalities of it, have you had anyone say, please, can you take that video down?
No.
No one.
And the thing is, there's no secret, I sleep with a lot of people. And I've been doing this since November last year, sleeping with like 18-year-olds and people that aren't in the industry.
Well, that's only a year though. So if they're 18, they're only going to be 19 now. Why don't we just wait until this develops fully?
Not had one person yet step forward and say they want content removed or they want it taken down. So
because logically, it's too early days. She's stupid. Sorry. If I was her and trying to defend myself, would I be making these same arguments? Nah, I reckon I'd go about it better because I'm smarter. Anyway.
And if I'm filming with them and I know they're nervous about their face being on camera, I prefer for their face just to be not in it. And POV tends to look better anyway, so it makes no difference to me.
So POV kind of, are they
so
filming it?
So I will literally pass them a phone with a little ring light on and they film it as if, you know, they're watching it through their eyes, but it's just videoed.
No, I have to give her props. It sounds like from that, she actually understands what POV means. You notice that on TikTok, people don't understand what point of view means. Point of view, you're at a bookstore and blah, 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 or whatever. So she actually knows what POV means. I will give her that. Maybe it's because she's so wise in her age.
And I also thought some people would come as a group of friends and keep doubling the time and be nice to their friend. So, you know, their friend got longer with me. But everyone just did 2 minutes that day.
Imagine going with your mates to queue up to have 2 minutes with Bonnie Blue. What a strange bonding experience. But it's like going to a strip club, really, with your mates, because it's like you're just a group of lads, generally, going to a place where you're all going to simultaneously get a boner. We should say that to the straight men who go to strip clubs. Like, so you're going to the room where you and your friends, male friends, all get boners together, huh, guys? Wonder where that ranks on the Kinsey scale.
But it's so outlandish that, let's be honest, a lot of people think that what you're doing is fake.
Yes. Obviously, some of the way I word things now, if you were just chatting to me out and about, I would not be saying, oh my God, I'm sleeping with barely legal teens tonight. No, I word things because I know it works well and it helps my business. I love sex. I don't believe it should be taboo. And that is genuinely what I believe. But no, I don't walk around on a daily basis looking for 18-year-olds thinking, yep, they'd make me money. So.
But I thought you said you wanted things to be authentic.
Do you rage bait? Because you obviously don't care about the people that aren't subscribing to you.
Yeah.
Do you watch my videos? I said that.
In the way that you don't care if they think you're a predator.
Mm-hmm.
So are you trying to wind them up so that your videos get more... get seen by more people?
100%. Half the words I use is because I've seen it in the hate comments. I think I'm going to use that to promote my next video. Like,
see, I said that in the last video. I said she's just rage baiting, but still, it's like, okay, it's like on Made in Chelsea, yeah? Spencer Matthews was such a villain. And some people are like, oh, but it was just all acted. And it's like, yeah, but you're acting on a reality TV show. So people are going to see that persona and think that's who you are in real life. So whether you're playing the villain or being the villain kind of ends up being the same thing in the end. And neither of those things are good when you're on a bridge being like, you allow me to cheat on you. You can kind of see where I was coming, how I attached that to this.
So we have been able to verify that in your, I think it was Dads and Older Brothers video where there's like the builders on the stairs.
yes.
That they were...
Content creators.
Content creators,
Yes.
yeah. So that's fake.
Yeah.
So what's to say that your other content isn't? Convince us that your content isn't fake.
Wait, so they Metro did a bit of journalism for once in their life instead of just looking at Reddit threads and making articles about that. The dads and sons videos, or like some dads being a builder or whatever, roll the tape back, was fake. But she was saying at the beginning she wants it all to be authentic. Bonnie.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously with that one, I even said online, oh, I'm working with content creators. But yes, the name of the video is like Dads and Builders. But that's no different to when I say, hey, I slept with my stepbrother. Like...
But you were complaining about that being inauthentic. So what is it, Bonnie?
So if OF allowed, I don't know, like, do they allow like school, if you were to be like schoolboy?
As in like they dress up
like,
as...
Would you be able to type in like your bundles? I don't know.
You can't put school, I don't think.
If you could, would you?
Yeah, because if they're a schoolboy, like you can be a schoolgirl. I've dressed up as a schoolgirl before and stuff. Like people do Halloween costumes. I think people dress up as schoolgirls and from a very young age.
But Bonnie, what if it said infant school girl? Would you dress up as that as well? Because, you know, technically if it's legal and if it's allowed on Pornhub, OnlyFans, what's the issue? That's the thing. She doesn't have any individual thoughts. She can't work out if something's an issue or not. She needs someone else to tell her. And if OnlyFans are okay with it, then what's the limit?
But the difference is that they are just out of school.
Yeah.
So it's almost real. So therefore it feels
real.
More creepy, people looking for that content.
People can have their opinions, but if that schoolboy, however I want to word it, if they're happy making that content and they've not got a problem with it, who are we to judge to say you can't be a schoolboy in that video? Like,
who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? Who are we to judge anyone doing anything? Really? We should just never judge anyone for doing anything ever again. Who are we to judge if people want to discriminate? Who are we to judge if 50-year-old blokes want to groom 16-year-olds? Who are we to really judge?
What about their expectation of women that they then have if their only experience is with you?
Mm-hmm. Well, they're fully aware, like, if they were to sleep with me and then another 18-year-old girl, it's probably going to be very different because I have got a CV full of sleeping with people, whereas an 18-year-old girl hasn't. So anyone with a brain is going to understand that, and they definitely are.
Yeah, but anyone with a brain isn't going to be like queuing up for 8 hours straight just to have like 2 minutes with that'll go online forever. So,
and they're not expecting the next person to sleep with to be a porn star. So they don't have these expectations. They know sleeping with me is a one-off, and that's just what it's left as. It's like having like a really good night out. If I said to you, you could go and have the best night of your life, and then you're going to go back to your normal life. You're not really going to say, you know what, I never want to experience that good night. So otherwise, you won't bother going on holidays. You won't bother going on night outs. You think, I'm just going to stick to what I know. Like, you want to change it up.
My goodness, you are not a holiday or a 5-star hotel, babe. You are not a trip to Las Vegas. I really want to go to Las Vegas. That's why I said that.
You don't have to be in love with someone or in a long-term relationship to want to sleep with them. And I just see it as like a hobby. Some people go out and enjoy drinking. I don't. I'd prefer to go and have sex. And that's as deep as it is.
Is it as deep as it is, though? Because, and I know this is going to wind some people up by me saying it, but hypersexuality can be a sign of trauma. It can be a reaction to something. So is it always... I'm sure, there are plenty of porn stars that have, a healthy attitude towards sex and it's just their job. But... Bonnie.
Do you actually believe that men should cheat on their partners if they're not giving them enough sex?
I'm not going out there saying, oh my God, guys should cheat. But from my experience in the industry, they will cheat. If they're going off to work and they're doing, helping you around the house and other additional things, and they're not having sex, and even though that woman does not need to give it to them, you don't, like I said, it's all about consent and you do what's right for you, but...
Oh, please. She's backtracking hard now. That's not what you were saying before, babe, you weirdo, you propagator of rape culture. She's backtracking. This is performative. She doesn't actually mean that. She doesn't actually mean, women, their consent matters too, because she said throughout this entire thing, the only people she really cares about is men. So what does she actually care if women are fully consenting to having sex or not? But... If you have to shag your partner, whether you want to or not, just to stop them from straying, they're going to stray inevitably anyway. It's a two-way street of respect. And also, some blokes don't care about sex as much as, what she's pretending they do. I'm not going to air anyone out. It's all anonymous. I got some mates who are going through some very long dry spells. Longer than you'd think. Not everyone is as obsessed with something as base as sex.
You need to, I guess, expect they're going to go elsewhere if you aren't sleeping with them. So in that sense, yes, I think it's completely fine for men to cheat.
I think it's fine for men to not have morals, values, or any sense of loyalty just because they're not getting their willy wet. God, you're so annoying. You're such a pick-me.
I think your stance has weakened on this because you definitely have encouraged men to cheat on their partners.
She's done her research. She's actually done her research. This video did come out after I did my one. No, before I did my first one, actually. She's done her research. Right, props to this journo. Who are you? I like you more than I like body.
Yeah, I do think it makes them happier, though, because it's like a stress release. If they're going to work, obviously work, no matter what you do, it's going to be stressful at times.
As if women don't work too, Bonnie. Shut up, you idiot.
There's no other way to explain it than like a stress release. So then they could go and see someone like myself, have fun, have pleasure, and then go back to their stressful lives, go back to their wives and continue them being happy and listening to her moaning.
To her moaning, you're a misogynist. You're actually just a misogynist.
Do you see how that could sound? People could perceive that as being misogynistic.
Because you are a misogynist.
Her stress, maybe she's had a long day at work and doesn't want to have sex with her husband.
Yeah, but this isn't just like a one-off. This isn't just I don't want to have sex tonight. Like when I used to speak to these people and subscribers, they'd be like, oh, my wife's not touched me for 2 years, or my wife's not touched me since she has, had children.
Why though? And why is the onus on the wife? Like I said in my previous video, maybe the blokes completely let themselves go. Maybe the bloke's idea of sex is just in, out, they're done, and the wife doesn't orgasm. Maybe their idea of foreplay is ordering a pizza. Like, how about the men stay looking fit and bouncing back from the baby weight or the pub weight? And they should stay emotionally connected and doing the date nights and doing the things. And if you're doing all of that and it's just still not working out, just end it rather than cheat. And if it's since the children thing, is the bloke doing everything they can to help out the child? Because I can flip this on its head, and the amount of posts on Reddit about blokes who do nothing when the child comes along, but then expect like their wives to be having sex with them within like a month of giving birth. If you want confirmation bias on whatever your agenda is, you can find it and seek it. She wants confirmation bias that she's doing a good thing for these blokes and enabling them to cheat on their wives, and it's somehow moral. She's looking for a confirmation bias, she's finding it, but there's a whole other story on the other side that she's not looking at and she's refusing to. Does she not want to accept, like, she is a misogynist, and I think she should just be willing to accept that title. If not, then just stop saying misogynistic things and stop being an idiot. There's cognitive dissonance going on here with her, I think. Like, you're just a sexist, babe.
It's interesting because it kind of clashes with what your current life. You're an independent woman, you've got your own career. So would you hold that same standard to yourself?
That's the thing. If it was, like I said, if the wives are going out working, and like I said, I'm not bothered who works. Like, it doesn't have to be a guy that goes out to work.
I've not heard you say that before, so.
When I've been getting hate a lot of the time, it is been stay-at-home mums and stuff like that. So it's like, they don't like to think, they like to think we've moved forward a lot, which we have, yet they're still choosing to be a stay-at-home mum. They're still choosing to let their partners go to work and be the breadwinner. Like, they're the ones that have fallen into that. Not me. I'm an independent businesswoman, and they're living off their husbands.
And they're living off their husbands. Well, not if it's a joint decision. See, she just has this ire for women. She just hates women. She's a misogynist. When's that going to be a hate crime? Do you reckon she'd stop being a misogynist if it was an actual hate crime and you could get into legal trouble for it? Because she respects the law above morality or ethics.
If they are at home more, or they do have maybe a more traditional dynamic, that's when you think should be pleasuring their husbands when they get home.
Yeah, I do think if you can't expect to have your bills paid, everything to be looked after, and you just to sit there and take money. Like, no one is deserved, or you don't just get anything in life. You need to work for things.
Well, sex between two consenting adults in a relationship full of trust and love shouldn't be viewed as work. So maybe because sex is your job, your perspective on it is a bit skewed. But then, no, there are loads of, like, I disagree with myself. There are plenty of porn stars who seem really cool fucking people, actually. I think the issue is just her.
Do you not think that sounds like they owe them sex?
But if you're in a relationship and you don't want to have sex with them, then you need to communicate with that partner that you're having a non-sex relationship. But if you're in a relationship where, you are going to be having sex and you just decided you're not going to pleasure your partner anymore, then yeah, I do think you either you should pleasure them, or go and book someone for your partner, or let them go elsewhere.
Again, this is just all down to communication. You don't have to jump to cheating.
You can't have it all. Like if I decided, you know what, if I was in a relationship in the future, I was like, you know what, actually I don't want to have sex anymore, but I still need to go to work, pay my bills and help me look after the kids. Like, why? Like, why should I just expect that?
Look after the kids is a completely different, it's a completely different fucking conversation, you absolute moron. You absolute moron. Like, if a bloke takes two to tango to create a child, so a bloke, no matter their sexual status, should be helping to bring up the child. Like, no matter what. If two people have decided to bring sentient life into this world, then two people, man, women, man, whatever it is, if you've decided that's what you want to do, then both of you need to be sharing it. You don't get to clock off being a parent just because you're not getting your willy sucked.
Oh, if your husband comes back from work and you're not giving him the sex that he deserves, he should go out and cheat on you.
Yeah. See, it's like one, then we're assuming they're naturally people are going to be at stay at home. It's like, go and get a job. Go and be your own businesswoman. Stop depending on a guy. Like, there's so many things they can do to get themselves out of that situation.
Not if they're being controlled as well. Again, she has no sympathy for women, but all the sympathy for, let's be real, ugly men. It's never lookers, is it? It's never lookers going out to the pub and like blah, blah, blah. No, like attractive people go to the pub. That's not what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. It's going to be taken out of context. No, I don't care because it will just upset men anyway. I don't give a shit.
And also, I have never... You know, I can understand when I post on TikTok, it can hit a younger target audience. But there's that many role models, influencers. I'm not an influencer and I'm not a role model. All I do is talk about my experiences and what I do in life. So
yeah, but you're trying to influence by going on all of these podcasts and saying your opinions. Because otherwise, if you weren't trying to influence, then you just wouldn't be doing that. You'd just be getting on with your job. Also, she does like what I do in a day content. I saw on TikTok, not on TikTok, on Instagram. So you are kind of trying to be a bit of an influencer.
I think you are a bit of an influencer because you do day in the life videos. I've seen your holiday.
We're on the same wavelength. Who are you? Let's be mates. Let's go for a coffee.
Holiday vlog. You know, like you being with your family.
Yeah,
that is being.
So yeah, I enjoy doing them just for myself.
If you enjoyed it and you did it for yourself, then you wouldn't have to put it out publicly, would you? But you're trying to be an influencer.
My God, your life has changed so much in such a short amount of time. It is so much for a person to take, even if you are fine with hate and controversy. Do you not worry that all of that is going to build up and you can't take that back off the internet and you can't change your reputation in that way? No,
I am fully aware. Like, despite what people think, I'm intelligent. Like,
No, you're not. You're just not. You wouldn't speak so simply if you were. She has a nice accent, and I think people conflate the two at times. But no, you're not intelligent. And the whole like her working in recruitment before, I feel like she was. I feel like she was an MLM girly.
When's the cut-off of sleeping with 18-year-olds? Do you get to 35, 40? Are you still waiting outside Nottingham Freshers handing out leaflets?
I mean, obviously that's a lucky thing. You can do it to whatever age you want. But yeah, I have no plan on stopping with them. But it's, yeah, like I said, there's no cut-off point really. It would just be...
Gross. She would so be 60 banging 18-year-olds if she could. You're just gross. I'm bored of this now. There's only 2 minutes left and I don't think she's going to say anything groundbreaking. I'm bored of this now. That is all for today's video. Bonnie Blue is just annoying and she's not a nice person. You can really tell. It really pops out. She's a misogynist. She's just a mean girl, really. Oh, well. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for Raycon for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check out my merch at ayclothing.temu.com. I'll see you guys next time. Follow me on Instagram. Bye.